Hey guys, it's Joe, and in this video I'll be going over some of my essential basics for mixing and producing. I'll be showing you the examples in Logic, but they will be applicable to all other DAWs. So first of all, it's multiple compression. Compression is a must as it is, but it's also a good idea to use a couple of compressors on a channel. So if you have your normal compressor on a channel, so this baseline compressor for example, we've got a standard 4:1 ratio on the compressor here to fatten up the sound. So to make it sound that little bit better and to sit with the rest of your mix, you can also bust a slightly softer compressor to this channel as well. Then you can adjust the amount you want it to be compressed using the bus, and then you can do this for all the tracks you want this compressor on as well. I tend to do it on tracks that I want to stand out, so basses, kicks, snares, claps and vocals mainly. Next is removing low frequencies. If you remove all the frequencies below 30 and 40 Hz on a channel, then it will generally make it sound ever so slightly tidier and less muddy. It may not be apparent at first, but if you have a project where you have 40 channels, then it all adds up and will make the track sound very messy. Also, most speakers and headphones can barely play those frequencies accurately, so it makes sense to at least reduce them so it isn't wasted energy in your mix. So you will effectively have this stacked up 30 or 40 times, which will make the reduction noticeable. Bussing reverb. Naturally, every channel in your mix should have some form of reverb on it, with a few exceptions. It's very important to use a bus for your reverb so each channel is getting the exact same type of reverb. So set up a bus and put a space designer on it. We'll pick a random small preset and whack the volume up to max. This is very effective as you can change how much each channel is getting extremely easily. You can use several reverbs for different sections of course. I tend to use a general small reverb, a larger reverb and a drum reverb all set up on a project. Stereo image. Stereo image is basically trying to recreate the spatial locations of sounds in recordings, mainly by using panning. This is so important as it makes everything sound far more real. For example, on a drum kit, if everything was played as if it was centered, it wouldn't sound very real. So from the viewer's perspective of standing in front of a drum kit being played by a right-handed drummer, the hi-hats will be on the right, as well as a cymbal and a tom. There'll be more cymbals on the left, as well as lower toms and floor toms. The kick and snare are however essential. So it is important to pan your drum kit so they are perceived by the listener correctly. This is just one example. It's also a good idea to keep any kind of bass central. You can do this by using a directional mixer and effectively make the track mono. So the directional mixer in Logic is under imaging, and then if you change the spread to 0, it will just make the track mono effectively. You want to do this with your bass because that's where a lot of the energy in your track will be, so it's a good idea to keep it consistent in the middle of the stereo image. Using a reference track. A reference track is a song that you want your track to sound sonically similar to. Not imitate or copy parts of, just a song that you know really well and you really like the mixing of or like how certain frequencies stand out. It's also good to compare the overall volume of yours, but that can be adjusted in mastering. This does tend to be done towards the end for any final tweaks, so if you have an MP3 of the track, drop it into the project, solo it, put the channel EQ on, and click Analyze. This will show you what's happening sonically. Then you can use that to compare it to yours. So then you mute the reference track, put a blank channel EQ on your stereo output, and analyze what yours is doing sonically. You'll then be able to see what yours is missing compared to the other. Mine tend to always be missing some high end, so I'll go back into my mix and slightly increase the volume of some higher frequency parts, and boost the high frequencies with EQ of some other channels as well. And last but not least, please do not mix on just headphones. When wearing headphones, each ear will only hear audio that's being produced by that relevant channel, whereas if you're listening to it on a pair of monitors, both ears will hear the signal being produced by both the right and left channel. So you are limiting yourself by just using headphones. That being said, headphones do have their uses for picking up smaller details that monitors may not highlight. I use both just because it's more practical for my situation, but a track is not finished until I've fully mixed it on my speakers. So those are my basic essentials for getting a tidier and more professional sounding mix. They are relatively basic and I will do a video in the future with some more advanced advice. If there's anything you would like to add, please leave a comment below. I hope this video has been useful, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment or contact me via my website. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.